From Las Vegas, Sandy Kastel and friends.
Here is Sandy Kastel.
Good morning and welcome to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael, who's on his way. Hi, Michael. How you doing?
Very good. How are you?
Good. What happened here? We have a role reversal?
Yeah, something like that. I got up this morning, and the geese or goose or whatever these things that fly around.
Oh, I should have known.
They all over my car.
They dive bombed you, huh?
Oh my God! And I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. That whatever's in their system will stain your car.
Well,
So
it will ruin. It will actually ruin the paint too.
It would. It actually would. So I had to go to the car wash, and I said, "Let me get this off." I couldn't believe it. I mean, I think they just wait. They say, "There's Mike's car. Let's go poop on it. Let's go."
Well, you know, they're all flying south because, you know, it dropped about 20 degrees here in the last couple of days.
Right.
Yeah, so we're all freezing. We're not used to this lovely, beautiful. It's actually really nice weather.
It's been beautiful.
Yeah, we've got also here. Oh, I can't talk. Mari Rose. How are you today, Mari?
I am doing wonderful. I'm enjoying this fabulous weather.
I know. It really has been nice. It reminds me a little bit of California,
Doesn't it?
Southern California.
Yes.
And you kind of you get up in the morning and you have that crisp feeling like you're in the mountains, or you're near the ocean or something like that. It's not quite as damp, that's for sure, but it's really nice. It's just a little chilly, so it's sweater weather now.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's why I have my jacket on.
Yeah.
And I'm so pleased. I went hiking this weekend, and it was just an amazing
Where'd you
hike.
go?
To Red Rock. And
Red
I'm a
Rock's
hiker.
beautiful. Yeah.
And I spent a good 3 hours just hiking. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
And, it was interesting. When I was walking on the trail, I also kind of became disoriented, but because of the light that changes in the environment.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, am I taking the right trail? And I'm really good about, finding my path, direction. Yes. And so that was really interesting for me. It's like, wow, I hadn't really experienced the season until my last hike, and it was wonderful.
That's nice. And this is the nice weather to do it in. I'm sure the runners will be running a little bit later because, in the summertime, the runners and the bikers, they all go up Charleston. They'll go like real early in the morning so that they
at 5
miss,
o'clock in the morning.
because they've got to miss that heat.
Right.
And now's a perfect time because you could go, pretty much, throughout the whole day.
And I think this is a good time to start exercising and let a little more light into your house. I mean, as far as natural light or just
open the windows.
Open the windows, absolutely.
Let the fresh air come through and just, clear out the dead space.
If Chef Michael is cooking too much pasta and too much garlic, then we need to open those windows and let the air out.
Well, what's great is we have those big, huge sliding glass doors, so that we can open up. Where are you at, Michael? Are you walking up the stairs? You must be here. Hey, there you are, Chef Michael. Chef Michael.
Good morning, good morning. The best to you.
Each morning.
KLAB 1230 for you. Something like that. Anyway, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Hi, San.
Hi.
I got to go to Chrysler after
Hi,
this.
Mai.
You have to follow me to Chrysler.
What now?
Something came up. ESP bag, BAG.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what the hell that says. It's under warranty.
Well, they had that big scare with all the bags, in the cars. There's a lot of different companies that are being affected by that. A lot of the Asian companies and even GMAC, I think, has some cars in there. So
I gotta go.
Maybe yours is one of them. You've got a Chrysler, and so maybe you got to check out that
You
airbag.
gotta follow me when we leave.
I got to follow you. I have to.
Anyway, did you have a good time at the show?
I did. Oh my gosh, they were fabulous. I totally enjoyed myself. It was just wonderful. I really enjoyed I really enjoyed the show. I'm glad I was one of the few people that was able to buy a ticket. So I would love to see it again.
Yeah, we'd love to do it again.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
We always enjoy being with a big band. Oh my gosh, not everybody gets to perform with a big band.
No,
in fact,
and I think it's a dying art, and I think it's something that we should continue.
Well, there's a lot of great singers around town, and and they, don't all get a chance to sing with a big band. Sometimes they get to sing with a trio or maybe a sextet or a septet, whatever it is. Anyway, and to actually sing with a big band is really unique and special, and it's wonderful that we've had the chance to do it. And in fact, I know they tried to do something. They're going to be doing something in January. I think they've got something coming with Bob Anderson, that Frank Sinatra show with a big band. I'm hoping that'll do well. But I know this show that they just did with Clint Holmes, the Ray Charles thing, it had a 20-piece orchestra or something, and it's just so many musicians, and it's wonderful to hear that. But I guess they closed the show already. I can't believe it.
Well, when you got a room that seats 1,700 and 300 people show,
I know,
it looks empty.
But they should have put it in a room that seats 200 or 300, and then that way it would be packed every night.
You're not going to get 20-piece orchestra. See, the biggest problem.
That is the problem.
The biggest problem that I found in the entertainment business, and I'm going to speak it from my end, is that these entertainers, and I'm not going to mention any name, these guys want to do what Sinatra did. They want to go up with orchestras. You know what I mean? And there's no budget for that. There is absolutely no budget. Years ago, the showrooms had a union, okay? And they had to pay to... Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, it's hard for me. I don't care about that. John's getting the back of my head. And what happened was that they had to pay. In 1989, they went on strike, and they never came back. They never made a comeback, and that was the end of the musicians' union.
Well, what happened is, of course, then they were paying the bands and stuff, and now everybody's four-walling the rooms, or they've got investors, that are bringing these shows in, which is wonderful, and we appreciate it, and we love it. Because, without these investors, these shows would not be able to be put up on the strip. And really to some of these shows to just come up, for a one-time thing,
And there's only a handful of entertainers that are out there, a handful that are good, that justify a $25 ticket, a $50 ticket, an $80 ticket. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
That really
absolutely.
But these guys are, they're not kids. You know what I mean? The rest of the people, and I'm not going to say this, Sandy gets mad at me, they're wedding bands. They belong at a wedding, a bar mitzvah.
Well, but
they don't belong in these lounges.
It's always been that way. There's always...
No.
Yes, it...
No.
Yeah.
1974, let me tell you something.
Michael?
Jerry Tiffy was excellent.
What I was going to say
Freddie Bell.
Shut up. There's always been a variety of different styles of singer. And don't forget, what's happened is because the showrooms are not doing what they used to do, and because the lounges are not there to do this, what we're getting is the singers that would normally be doing, these other events are now doing them out at restaurants and things like that, or they're out at the hotels and they're singing with with a track or something like that. I mean, Peter Pavone is a wonderful singer. He should have a band behind him, but because they have no budget, they're not giving him any budget at the hotel.
And what kills me
to
is
put
a
a
casino.
trio, even just a trio.
It's a casino.
The style of songs that he's doing are the old style songs, and a trio would be perfect for that. A little jazz quartet.
Well, if people say, "Well, that's old hat," well, guess what? Tell that to Michael Bublé. That he's a gold record. He has gold records.
Yeah. But he had $1 million behind him, first of all, and he had a great, huge, big producer behind him that put him on the radio stations.
Right, but people.
Okay?
Right, but people listen to him, Sandy.
I know, but he got there because David Foster, put him there, and David produced all the songs. And because I talked to the radio stations when I was doing my own album. I did my This Time Around album, and they had him playing on the major pop stations. And I said, well, you've got his music playing. They said, yeah, you give us $1 million, we'll put you on our station too. Anyway, enough of that. But he's keeping the music alive, and there is a big following for it. The problem is that not everybody can do it, and that's the way it's always been, is what I was trying to tell you. Is that there's only a few that get to the top, but nowadays everybody expects to be at the top.
And
not Michael, let's let her get a word in edgewise. She's been trying. We're
I don't even know why I came in today. I should have just went right to Chrysler.
Yes, Mari.
But I think that it also starts with our schools, because it's really taken a lot of the music and arts out of our schools because the schools can't afford it, or it's something they find it's frivolous. It's something that children really need in order for them to expand their minds.
It's amazing how they say it's frivolous. However, behind every commercial, every single commercial, in every movie, Every single movie, every single production show, there is music, music, music. Now, is it frivolous? There is artwork that is graphic artwork. What is frivolous about this?
None at all.
That's right. And why are they saying it's frivolous? It's ridiculous.
I think they're just trying to cut. I know it is, and they're just trying to cut the budget for whose budget.
Yeah,
it was really quite interesting. Just
anyway, that's why it's up to us to keep it alive, and our investors and people like that do help us put these shows.
Here's a challenge.
So that people can enjoy it.
Here's a challenge for all you entertainment directors and all you.
A challenge.
A challenge. Yeah.
You mean a dare?
No, a challenge. It's a challenge for all you moguls out there. All right,
That's right.
You geniuses, moguls. Any lounge in Las Vegas. I'll tell you what I'll do. We did the club. We did the Canyon Gate
Country Club.
We had 150 people.
Right.
We charged $35 a ticket.
And they got a meal.
You got a meal. I had a 16-piece orchestra and 4 acts with dancers. They made a fortune of money. I'll make a deal right now. I'll put up $100,000 in any cage in Las Vegas. Let me go in with the show that I want to put in there. It won't be a 16-piece band. It'll be a review.
Yeah, like a 16-piece.
And any seat that is empty.
Shh. You don't have to
I'm
scream.
not going to say anymore.
You don't have to scream. You got the microphone right in front of you, Mike. Keep going.
Nope. Anyway, I got to go to Chrysler, and I have to get that stuff handled. So how are you doing?
No, but
anyways?
I agree, Michael. Anyway, if you're just tuning in now, you're listening to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael. And he's on a roll today, folks. But I don't know if he's talking about recipes or recipes for success. So we'll be right back after a message from our sponsors.
Every morning brighter. This is Sandy Kastel and Friends. Here again, your host, Sandy Kastel.
Hi, and welcome back to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael. Our guest today is author Mari Rose. Hi, Mari. How are you doing?
Hi, wonderful.
Good to see you again.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me back.
And it sounds like you had a great weekend.
I did. Well, I went hiking. I experienced a change of seasons, and that's something that I would love to talk about today. Because during the autumn season, we have the feeling of things dying around us, and things are just, getting dark. The light becomes
Michael,
changing.
where are you going?
To the ladies' room.
Come here. Come back here. Come here. Join us. Where are you going?
I had to go see John Lindquist. I had to ask him a question.
So the changing of the seasons.
The changing of the seasons, which sometimes we become a little bit depressed. It depends on where our energy is. Some people say, I don't necessarily experience a change of season, not during the winter or the summertime, or because we tend to transcend some of those energies, or we tend to only feel what the environment is there to for us to experience. Mm-hmm. To me, change of seasons is very important. Just like not necessarily astrology, but it has to do with something pertaining to that. But the change of seasons has to do with how autumn is. The leaves are falling, the winter months are coming in, or the the coldness or the light, different changes. So that's what we're experiencing now. And I think sometimes we experience a little bit of grief, a little bit of depression, and it just depends on how we deal with it. And that's what my book's based on.
Oh, well,
not necessarily for just that one season, but 4 seasons of the year.
Well, like you said, seasons relating to our lives. There's different seasons of our lives.
Yes, seasons of our lives.
And not only throughout 1 year's cycle, but also throughout our entire life. We have different cycles in our life, which we could relate to the seasons of our life. In fact, Frank Sinatra,
yes.
it was a very good year. Those were actually changes in his life. And it's just like we go through all these. And I know your book is about, peeling back the layers, that we have in our lives and discovering things as we grow. But now that you said, like, the changing of the weather, a lot of times, we go inside more. We get the sweaters out. We get the comfort foods. We get the soups. We get the warm things. We start to nurture ourselves in a different way. Whereas in the spring, in the summertime, it's like we're ready to come out and be out in the world and spring out, forward. So it's very instrumental in our lives, to do this and rejuvenate each year too during the cycle.
And I think it's been around for a long time. We, obviously we created the, Farmer's Almanac. We, our parents got together
it's been here forever, right.
forever and ever, and our parents created, venues and parties and get-togethers during the certain times of the year in order for us to feel more connected and more collective. And that's part of what the book is about. It's kind of changing, helping you understand what we've forgotten and through the years. Because during the winter times, whenever it was cold and wintry, our parents created little festivities and we had parties.
Right, festivals. I was just thinking festivals, and you said festivities because a lot of times we do that. And Michael, the Italian culture does that.
It does.
They celebrate as you go into the winter, and share some of those with us, Michael.
As I was saying, I put up $100,000.
Oh my gosh!
I finished my thought. I'm not going to change.
No, you could have finished your thought. You chose not to finish your thought and to.
No, what I was
stop.
trying to say real quick is that any showroom that's in here, not major showroom, but any lounge showroom, 200 and more, I'd go in because we have proven it. Every place Sandy and I go, from the Tuscany to Sienna's to Hacienda Del Rey, you got these places here, and they're tough. When you work a room like these places, you got your own people come to see you. The casinos are a little bit different. It's a whole different ball game when the casino, because you got the public. You got the tourists that are there. And boy, I would love to get my hands on the tourists. Remember Tucker, the car Tucker? Yeah. You remember that car? You don't remember, Sandy?
I saw the movie.
Right. Do you know who played it? Bo Bridges.
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff or Bo, I forgot.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges. He played it. And do you know why Ford knocked him out of the box?
Why?
They were afraid of him. Because he had a car that could have actually put a...
Yeah, and he used his own money or the people... He had investors, but then, they had bigger money.
They didn't want to put out a car to what he did. Because I remember, I would see one of the cars, when you turned the wheel, the lights would turn as you would turn with it. The kid was way before his time. A lot of people here in Vegas are that way. They get afraid. They get afraid you're going to go in. And I've seen that done many times in entertainers. That's why when Sinatra played a room, it was hard to follow, or Sammy. And today it's hard. So they went with production shows. They said, we play it safe. We're going to go with a production show. The Circus du Soleil shows. And they give you your money's worth, but you got 600,000 people in a showroom.
Well, but also you've got, just like what Mario was talking about changes and seasons. Even Las Vegas and every city. Michael, can you please turn that off? Every season, every town goes through different changes and goes through cycles. And what they went through in the 80s, where all, like you said, they changed. They went down to where they had two-piece bands in the lounges, and they didn't have as many of the bigger bands playing, and that was a change. But everybody had to adapt. So a lot of times in life, we have to adapt, and the hotels are changing also to the different generations that are coming in. Michael, look at the younger crowds now. Everything is about short, texting. Texting is 3 letters, LOL, LOL. Oh, okay. Now you got SLS, then you have, you had LVH. You have all these short letter names. What is the meaning of these places? But you've got a younger generation that is coming up, and this is the way they're relating to things.
And it's reprogramming our mind as well. It's reprogramming our thoughts and our mind.
And being willing to change, and to grow. This is all about growing.
It is. It's definitely about growth. And, it comes around. I think that you'll have the big band once again. I think that we're just going through cycles. I think it's going to be cool again. And I know we're trying to still inspire that, and we're trying to connect to that. And maybe you are the catalyst or the pioneer that's kind of bringing that into the forefront.
Right.
But then in the future, it's going to be something that, what happened? What happened to the big band?
And if a younger generation brings it in, just like the younger singers that are doing this style of music, it's going to have a different slant on it because they're going to do something different.
But we need to start with the schools first so that we can kind of enrich those children to say, let's do this.
Yeah. So anyway, Michael, join in here. Give us
Are you pouting because your car got pooped?
I'm just listening.
Yeah, but Michael, look at you. You've gone through a lot of changes. Now, if you sat down and just stopped because something happened in your life and you just said, I'm not going to do anything, then there wouldn't be any growth either.
Absolutely.
And so, just like this city, just like what we're talking about, and the seasons changing, you've experienced this yourself.
I think he's going through the change.
Reinventing yourself.
I think we should observe Michael. It is, now look at that. He's going through the change.
Well, it's a funny thing. I'm a very rare individual. It's a shame I'm not in my prime anymore in the boxing profession. Because if I was still fighting, when I had a shot for the title, I'd say winner take all. I lose this fight, you can have my purse. I'm a funny guy. I'm a firm believer. When you walk into a place and I look at somebody, it's like being an attorney. You get yourself in trouble. And I say to you, I want $50,000. Oh my God, 50 grand, I can't afford. You want to get out? You don't want to go to jail? Give me 50,000, I will guarantee you that I'll win your case. Or a doctor would say to you, could you imagine if you go to a doctor and you have open heart surgery for your mother or something, the doctor says, well, I'm going to try, I can't guarantee nothing. People want to be assured what they're doing. Like this radio show. We came into this radio show with a handful of people that listen. We became number one. Whatever reason may be. We became number one because Sandy and I believed what we were going to do. We went to Canyon Gate, okay? Canyon Gate, we put a show on that was a spectacular show that nobody would even think about. And if they think about it, guess where they put it at? Like Bob Anderson, they stuck it on the strip. Clint Holmes, they want to put it on the strip. We were off the strip in Canyon Gate. They made more money with us on that bar, which I'm not permitted to say, because I got the tally up. With 150 people.
We're big drinkers.
Okay?
We were big
Nobody
drinkers.
gives you dinner. So there's other people, they go to the Italian American Club. It costs you $20 a head to get in to see an act, which they're good, don't get me wrong, just to get in to see the act. So you know what I say? If you think you're so good, put a $20 minimum every time somebody comes to see you. Let me see how many people come in to see you.
It's interesting.
You want to do 3 nights a week. Go ahead. $20 a head to get in to see. I'm not going to mention any name. But it's open. There's no cover. There's no minimum. So they'll say, I'm playing here 3 days a week, 4 days a week. Come and see me. Put a $20 cover charge. Let me see how many people go see you. Then it'll show you how good you really are.
But it's interesting because Chef Michael, you've always put the energy into whatever that you've created, and you've manifested whatever that you're presently doing. You're presently living. And that's what I talk to my clients and people that come to see me. If you focus, and if you're the concert pianist that's so solely focused on their one piece and music, then they become the best. And that's where obviously that's a lesson, and that's a lesson for everyone to understand. If we focus only on what we want to do, and we don't look to the right and we don't look to the left, but it's there.
But my attitude was always the same, even when I did the Riviera. Their budget was $3,500 a week for a show. I went in the first week, I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pay the first week. My price is $6,000 for the week. Oh, we can't afford that. Make a deal with you. I'll come in for the whole week and play for absolutely nothing. I'll invest $6,000. I want you to, and I will guarantee you that I will outbuy. And everybody come and see me. You'll make more money with this show than anybody. Guess what they did? They made $10,000 every 3 days on my show. They made over 20 grand. Words. Guess what they said? Well, our budget, it's only $3,500 and we cannot change it. And I looked at these people, I said,
that's the bean counters, Michael.
Right,
that
exactly.
is the bean counters.
Right.
And it's not like, it's not, unfortunately, in the olden days, it was like, let's give the value. Let's give the value. Let's invest in the act. And they invested in the acts that drew the people.
Right.
That drew the people that were going to come out and play also. Because if the act didn't draw the kind of people that they wanted, that were after the show going to come out and play, then they really didn't want that act either. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So really, what she was saying, what Mari was saying is, you prove the point. You prove the point. You believe one way. There is no
variation.
Well, I'm going to try. I'm going to really try to do my best, and maybe I could do it. You come out and you say, I'm going to do it. This is what we're going to do, and we can accomplish this. And this is the attitude
that everyone should be doing.
Yes, when you believe in yourself and believe in the one thing, focus on that one thing, and really be good at it,
right.
And then go out and have confidence about what you can do,
right.
And do it. No matter if people are saying, you know what, you're past your prime, you're too tall, you're too short, you've got red hair, you've got blonde hair, you're short, you're chubby, forget about it.
You do. Right.
Follow your heart. And that's what I talk about when I go, when I say, don't tell me I can't, don't tell me I won't, don't tell me I never will, because I can. I can if I take the steps each day towards my goal. Chef Michael, when he gets up in the morning, and I know, Michael Leonetti, otherwise known as Chef Michael,
the
musician. But I have to tell you, he goes out, he gets up first thing in the morning. I mean, he's up before everybody else. I mean, there's a lot of other people that are up at 4 o'clock in the morning, but he is also. And he gets up and he is focused. He's focused. And a lot of people get up and they're not focused. You know, maybe they have to make a living doing something else, but their dream is over here. So when you have that, you know, you have to make a schedule. You have to plan for that.
Absolutely.
And it's like, who was the girl that wrote the book? Life is a Bowl of Cherries. I can't
Life
remember.
is just a
Do you
bowl
remember
of
that?
cherries.
You remember that?
I do. I remember.
Yeah, so Life is a Bowl of Cherries. I think she's the one. And she had kids. And so she would go into she was busy all day long. She had a huge, you know, schedule with the kids. She would lock herself in the bathroom for like 15 minutes at a time. She'd lock the door and she'd write. Okay, I got 15 minutes, 10 minutes. And she'd write. And then she'd go out and take care of all the chaos and da-da-da-da-da. And she found a way. She booked that time and found a way to focus on what it was that she wanted to accomplish, you know, and she wrote the book.
Yes.
You know, and then she continued and then became famous. But, you know, you have to take that time, and as you're going through changes in your life, sometimes, like for me, I talk about detours. You know, my life is a series of detours.
Right.
Michael went through detour. We've all had some kind of detour. John Stiles behind the camera. I know you had a big.
Tough to admit that he's a cross-dresser.
No, you know we've all had John. Ryan, you're way too young. Probably haven't had any. You know, but have you? Have you had a detour in your life?
Fighting cross-dressing
No.
like
See,
that?
even Ryan, and he's young. He's young. So the idea is that. What do we do? What do we do when we have something happen in our lives that just pulls the rug out from underneath us? What do we do, Maureen?
Accept the change and kind of go with the change. But it's something we always ask.
But you have to do something.
Absolutely. We'll just go with the flow. Okay, if I'm in a bad relationship and I have to get out of it, then I make the change to say, you know what, you can't do this to me anymore, and I've got to walk out.
Right.
And I pack my things and I leave. That's just an example. So whatever, or maybe a bad job, and you may be making hundreds of millions of dollars, but you hate this job.
That's right.
And then all of a sudden you realize that you're a farmer and you love farming.
Yeah.
And this is your passion. You may make $50,000 a year.
But you're happy.
But you're happy.
Right.
And that's where you need to be, because when you're happy with whatever that you're doing, even John and I were talking, the cameraman, he says, but I'm so happy at what I'm doing, because then it's going to lead you to more. It's going to give, universe is going to give you exactly what you need at this time, at wherever it is.
As a matter of fact, we passed our time for the commercial. So, but if you're just tuning now to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael, we will be right back after a message from our sponsors with author Mari Rose and Chef Michael, otherwise known as Michael Leonetti, the storm that can't be stopped.
Radio show like it. This is Sandy Kastel and Friends. The phone lines are open at 702-731-1230. Now, here again, Sandy Kastel.
Hi, and welcome back to the Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael, otherwise known as Michael Leonetti, the storm that can't be stopped. You know, I was just doing this, and I was just playing around here. You know, it reminded me of my mom, and I'm going to bring my mom up right now. Wanda Kastel. Wanda Kastel. She was Wanda Jean Armstrong. And there were 4 sisters, the Armstrong sisters, and there was Anita, my mom, Pat, and Beverly. And they used to sing and dance when they were kids. They had these cute little outfits, these little, you know, they'd have little cowboy outfits, and then they have little dressy outfits, and they would sing and tap and do all these wonderful little numbers out in San Francisco. And one of the things that was so inspiring about my mom is that she always looked on the bright side. I mean, she had her days, she had times, she had rough times, but she was always positive. And she said, you know, you always have to have, in her perspective was, well, you know, the reason we have the bad stuff that happens in our life, and this is the way she'd say it, so I'm not going to be politically correct here probably, but the bad stuff and the good stuff is so that it balances out.
Right.
She goes,
absolutely.
Because if you don't have the bad, you don't appreciate the good.
Absolutely.
Okay, and some people would say, well, don't say, and then some people say, well, say negative and positive. And then people say, don't say negative, negative and positive. Say, well, so there's all these words we're not supposed to say. But the bottom line is, she would dance around and sing these little songs and sing these songs to us and play games with us all the time. And she also, when we wanted to do something, she would always be behind us. Okay, and I know, Michael, you talked about your grandparents. Remember how your grandparents used to listen to you tell your yarns about, I went out fishing and the fish was this big, and then I had and then it fell off, and it fell back, and he goes, and they would listen. They would listen with intent, concentration. And this is a support for children.
Absolutely.
When the parents listen and support and encourage kids to go out and follow their dreams. Okay? And we don't always get that.
No, and we don't get that now. I think there's a lot of children that are alone, and they have that.
They feel alone.
They feel alone. And both parents are working, and there isn't the support that you had. And then there's a lot of lost children. I think that's why we're having issues with a lot of our children. They're on drugs, or you have a lot of homeless children, especially here in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Well, it's around the world. I mean, it's around the country. Yeah. Unfortunately, we're hearing some kids are losing hope at a very young age, and we're getting and I'm not blaming it on anything, but all the stuff that goes online and the Facebook and the Twitter and all that stuff, the Facebook stuff, when kids go on and bully on Facebook, it's a lot different than when they were kids. Even when we were kids, if they bullied, usually it was contained in that one little area.
And you had friends to protect your family.
Yeah, that stood for you. When you go out on publicly, and now you're hundreds of thousands of people can respond to this stuff and see this stuff, you feel like these kids are feeling like their life is over.
Yes.
It's over because somebody doesn't like, them, or just makes fun of them. What were you going to say, Michael?
Years ago, the colleges, what's the most expensive college that's out there today?
I don't know, 50, 60, 100,000. Who knows?
No. Brigham Young?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
Harvard.
I know that Harvard probably.
You know why it's so expensive?
Why?
Because they got the people that are teaching them are they're brilliant. They went to Medza. You know what Medza is, don't you?
Right, correct. Yes.
I mean, these guys are geniuses. So families that have that kind of money, they say, "Where did you graduate from?" Temple University, Philadelphia. People go, "What?" Harvard. Brigham Young.
Oh, really?
All of a sudden, it changes because of what comes out of here. Back to cooking, not to get off the subject.
No, never.
I'm 62. Years ago, my grandparents, the old Italians, they had separate beds. They had twin beds. Remember the Dick Van Dyke show? They didn't even show that you slept in bed years ago.
Right.
You couldn't say the word pregnant on television. A lot of things changed.
Wasn't that the Lucy and Ricardo show?
Yes.
Right. They had separate beds. And I'm going to tell you something. I slept with my grandparents until I was 12. I had a cot. And the bed was on the one side, my grandmother was on the left, and my grandfather was on the right. And my cot was right in the middle. I had my own room, but I wanted to sleep with my grandparents. Okay? I was 12 years old. I loved them so much. So my grandmother taught me to have like a master, like a karate genius. What's the kid's name who died? Bruce Lee. To have him mentor you. And that's why when it comes to cooking, I did so well because my grandmother
was your
instilled
mentor
in my mind
at
the age of 9 and 10 and 7 and 8 to show those Italian recipes. Because when I prepare food, we had a party for my future father-in-law, Dick Kastel, and we had about 55 people that came to the house. And I made all the Italian dishes. People would come up and say, "Mike, come on, all jokes aside, how do you make this? I never tasted roasted peppers like this. I never. And when you get that kind of response from people, it's my grandmother. Because they turned the spoon over to me when I was 18.
Oh, I started cooking at 11 years old.
Right. So when you learn that kind of style, whatever your culture may be.
He was watching from the time he was a kid.
Right.
So
some kids will go play,
you know what I
mean? And I love to do it. And my grandfather instilled in me music. He used to take Earl Bostic and Sam Brutera and Louis Prima. Now, my day, I'm 62. It was Blood, Sweat, and Tears. It was Creedence Clearwater Revival. It was the Grateful Dead.
But it wasn't what you were playing.
It wasn't what I was playing. I wanted to play what my grandmother and my grandfather listened to. So that's why today, when Sandy and I do a show, I specialize in one style. Swing. I don't even attempt. Now, Sandy's different. I never met a girl so versatile in my life. She does tremendous country. I'm telling you, she's excellent when it comes to country. Great. She does got a great operatic voice, which she doesn't even fool around with. She does great with opera.
Oh, he's bragging on you.
Sandy
Let
does
him.
terrific
I
with
love
jazz, Broadway. Me, no. That's why when I put a show together, I'm a specialist in one style, and then I'll bring the people like, Peter Pavone or a Mark Jehovy or a Corey Sachs or Paris Red, a different type of performer that specializes in that. Where other entertainers, they want to sing everything. You can't. Some people can. I can't.
Well, but even
focus on
recording
your own
artists,
piece.
they have to focus on one style, one genre, even if they do other things. Like, Martina McBride came out, under country music, but also she did. She's done stuff with Jim Brickman and stuff like that, and she has a great voice, So it's just because she sings country doesn't mean she can't sing other styles. But some people are really, 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 really country, and that is what they do and only what they do. Some people are really only opera, and that's only what they do. Some people have a crossover, they can go between opera and pop and stuff. But it's very rare. But the idea is that still is being able to be willing to change, be willing to grow, be willing to, take the steps that you need to take,
Absolutely, and be the best you can.
And according to your book, what you're talking about is, changing your life and striving to, you're striving to teach readers how to move beyond old perceptions and release the clutter and noise of daily life in exchange for an environment of openness and strength.
Yes.
I mean, that's very powerful. Now, also, you were talking about, what else you do, and
I'm a life intuitive.
Life intuitive.
And here, I hate the word psychic because it does really denotes negative connotation. And Michael, I knew that was going to come from you. That's why I hated to say that. But I'm a life intuitive, and life intuitive to me means that I help you with connecting with your life situations. I hear it, see it, sense it. I help you kind of with the future, of what's going on with your future, and kind of predict that. And I also help with the past that you've created.
Well, I think sometimes we're so busy in our world that if we don't take time ourselves, we have to remind ourselves to take time. I don't know, somebody like Michael maybe doesn't, but I think he does. He does it by sitting down and smoking a cigar and relaxing. That's the way he calms down.
That's how he gets grounded.
And his ideas come to him like this. They're always coming. Other people,
we feel
they reflect, they meditate. Playing an instrument is like meditation.
Yes, or cooking.
Cooking for him,
Yes.
that's a form of meditation. Gardening, presidents, all these people, you see them gardening in
Absolutely.
What it does is it takes you back to the basics, working with your hands, so your mind has a chance to just have thoughts, without being cluttered with so much of the other stuff that's going on
And
in
I
the
think
world.
that's the issue that we have. We
And
have
sometimes
so
we
much.
need, what I was leading to is sometimes we need help
Yes.
to get us back to those points, and that's where somebody like you can help us in our busy schedule to say, okay, let me take an hour or 2 hours out of my day or out of my week or out of my month and just go sit with Mari and have her work, just sit and help
Refocus.
me get back, because I feel that a lot of times we know the answers.
We do. We all know the answers, but sometimes we just need someone
connected to them.
Right.
Again.
Or someone needs to tell you. It's like, oh, I need confirmation of
Yeah.
what I've been thinking, because my mind is so cluttered with information. I've got to do this. I'm going to take the children. I've got to go to work. I've got to exercise. There's just too much. Just stop. When you put on a shoe, then we put on a sock, open the sock and put it over your toes and feel it over your arch and feel it over your heel and put it over your ankle, because it takes that simple meditation of being present with everything that you do, and then you'll be present. That's what being present means. Just being focused. If you're cooking, you do only that. You're not thinking of everything
That's
else.
right. And that's what when Michael's cooking, he's focused on that. Now, are you familiar with Feldenkrais? The practice of Feldenkrais, Moshe Feldenkrais. He was a judo master, and he was one of the first Caucasian judo masters years and years ago. He was around the time of Pilates and Alexander and Ida Rolf and all that. And he injured his knees, and he rehabilitated himself by using the techniques. And basically, it was slowing himself down to, like, in watching a child. You know how a child is, and a child moves, and a child will lie there on their back and move their arms and their legs, and they're doing this for like hours and hours and hours. If we did that, that'd be the greatest exercise, because they're constantly moving, But also, what a child will do, when a child hears a noise, they go, what? Their whole body goes with them. When we hear noise, we go, what? We've learned to isolate this, this neck, and stuff, instead of our whole body turning with us and going away from the microphone. Anyway, but so he taught us to slow down and pay attention to the movement, slowing it down even more. Like because a lot of times we're rushing around, and so if we can just take a few moments, like you said, just a few moments, even
Every
when you're
day.
walking,
Yes.
even when you're walking at a quick pace, if you just say, oh, okay, for a few seconds, you actually concentrate and slow your pace down. What you do is you slow your breathing down, because even when I'm talking at a quick pace, and then when I slow it down, like when you're talking at a slow, relaxed, lower, you're breathing.
I can speed it up, but
you can. But a lot of times we're going, and I did this, and I did that, and I did this, and I did that, and then you have to go, and then I did that, and I did this, and you can hear the difference in the voice. And if you're just tuning in right now, you're listening to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael, and we're here with Mari Rose and Michael Leonetti, the storm that can't be stopped. We'll be right back after a message from our sponsors.
Start your day. This is Sandy Kastel and Friends. Here again, your host, Sandy Kastel.
Hi, and welcome back to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael. We were just talking with Mari Rose about changing your life and changing your layers, changing your life, which is her new book. It's right here. Change Your Layers, Change Your Life. And she has a picture of an onion being peeled. And some of the words that she has on the layers are, the one in the middle, in the center, is light. Then it's got joy and truth and love, trust, anger, success, nourishment, is that nurtureness, fear, jealousy, hate. So she's got different things on this.
Negative things that we go through. Actually, we're peeling the negative layers, and we're one layer at a time. We may have fear, which is a big category to jealousy or anger or resentment.
But sometimes if you look at the lives, you see a movie and you see the life of somebody, and it shows you what challenges they had as a child.
Yes.
And then because of those challenges, Mike, you don't have your microphone in front of you. What, you just giving up here? Anyway, they what happens is their fear or their anger or their whatever or their handicap or whatever is what has driven them.
Absolutely.
And it's the way that they've chosen to take that energy and do something. And maybe they didn't choose. Maybe it was because of these things that they worked through it, and they became successes through all of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I was brought up in a large family, and through our, the lack of not having, I never felt that we didn't have anything. But
didn't know any better.
Oh, I didn't know any better.
Right.
But I look back, and my girlfriends had horses, and they had, their own car, and I was riding my bike for a long time.
Yeah, and a lot of times kids got things. A lot of times kids start out with too many things. They got the cell phone, they got a computer, they've got a car, they've got a this, they got that, and they don't even understand that it's something. It's a gift.
Right. And I think that's what we need to go back to the basics.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to help people understand.
Mm-hmm.
Just go back to the basics.
Mm-hmm.
The basics will really bring you back to where you need to be. Maybe there's just too much chaos in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's just too much drama and fear. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're unhappy with certain situations. So if you start to meditate, and if you start to be focused, or maybe just grounded and forgive yourself.
Or do what you love, like Michael,
yes,
cooking. When he is cooking, like you said, it's like meditating. He just does it. He does it. It's automatic, and he's at peace.
And he loves it. Yes,
he's at
he
peace
loves it
when he does it.
And whenever he cooks, I'm sure it's delicious. I have never been invited, but
you haven't.
No.
What do you mean you've never been invited?
Oh, okay. Unless you're going to invite me, Michael.
You're always invited.
I'm trying to get an invitation, Michael.
Yeah, Michael.
Anytime.
Yeah,
okay.
anytime.
All right. But you know what?
Come
I did
on, Michael,
try.
You're so shy.
I know, Michael. I did.
To this young lady, so she can.
Oh, thank you, Michael. I did try your recipe about the shrimp fettuccine, and I did cook the shells in oil, and then I drizzled it on my fish that I had.
Was that right?
It was yummy. I couldn't
Notice
get.
they all turn orange.
Oh my gosh! Everyone was
You
like,
need a lot of shells.
it was about a pound of shells, but that was enough. It was yummy. Absolutely.
That's why, Sandy, we were looking for a supper club. And like I said to you, for me to fight this battle that we have out there every day, I said the best thing to do is just open your own place. Open your own place, and then people will say, they got lucky. BS. That's BS. And it's not you got lucky. You knew what you were doing.
Well, opening your own place takes a lot of work.
Okay. That does. But, Michael, every time that, as Sandy was saying, she doesn't need me here. I mean, I don't need to be here because she seems like she has great philosophy. But every time that something happens and you're having to change places, it's because you're maybe not in the right place. And eventually it's going to be that perfect place, that perfect environment for you and for your growth. And
when we started this radio show, I said it'll be the #1 radio show. We're going to television. I want to be very bold. Trust me. It'll be the #1 show in Las Vegas. Why? Because it's different. People today don't want to be educated. They want to be entertained. They don't want to be educated, and that's most of the radio shows. Everybody is getting educated, which is okay. But people want to laugh. They listen to us over my antics. Who we have, like you says, you don't need to be here. You're wrong. You do. That's what makes this show so wonderful.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a wide variety, or we would not have anybody on it, and it'd be me and Sandy every day. So it's like saying having a show, and the only people you hear is Steve and Edie Gourmet, and that's it, and nobody else. People want to be entertained, so that's why we open the doors to people like yourself and give you a platform like your book to let people know. So everybody that calls in, you'll get a $3,000 gift and to go to Hawaii with John Stiles, and he just won't wear his dress
on his motorboat. Anyway, but and the other thing is exposing people to new things that they might not know about yet.
Yes.
Because this is a wonderful book. It's a small book, but I like that because that means it's easy to read. A lot of people don't like to start out with a big book, and especially when you're looking for things that are just simple changes and things you want to make. It says, here's something right here. It says, showing compassion and giving kindness can really uplift a person. It sets a positive and powerful tone for the day. Giving has a profound rippling effect. It spreads encouragement. This is the single easiest thing you'll ever do in life, which can make a difference and have a momentous impact. This is just one of the little things that you have
quotes
here.
And messages that are out there for you. You can always open it up, like you're in the car, and all of a sudden you need some inspirational message and quote. It's there for you.
Yeah, like it's nice to just pick up a book, open it up, and say, okay, today I'm going to just read whatever I open up the book to hear. And thank you, Mari Rose, for being here. And Ryan is signaling us with great hand motions here. And unfortunately, we have to go. But it's so good to have you here. And your website is changeyourlayers.changeyourlife.com or mari-rose.com, mari-rose.com. Thank you so much for being with us today.
You're welcome.
And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Michael Leonetti, the storm that can't be stopped. We'll be right back tomorrow, but you can also see us today on YouTube after around 1 o'clock. Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
What?
She nears me.